Video will be going into how to leverage data in order to properly scale your business. With data, you're actually able to always make the right choice and know for certain that your strategic choices make sense and that you're on the right path. So, in today's world, with online businesses, we have the easiest possible situation to grow a business because we have access to every single detail in terms of data. So let's properly use it to our advantage. And today I'm getting notifications. Okay, thanks. Today I'll be getting into how to use the exponential growth process model in order to start using data right away. Like literally after watching this video and going through the steps, you'll be able to use data properly and leverage. And this is how I scaled to 100K a month in 7 months from scratch. Now, who am I? I'm Menno Wieringa. I've built 3 different $1 million plus businesses. And for example, the first one here is the one that actually gave me 100% freedom. I still own this business. It's still doing well over $1 million a year and still paying me every single month. It's a consulting business in the Dutch marketplace, and it's about e-commerce. We have an AI software. We serve logistical services. We do consulting, obviously, and we have a virtual assistant agency included in this company as well. These are some monthly revenues we've done. And this is the second business where I went from zero all the way to over 200K euros a month in just 60 days. I made other videos on my YouTube about exactly what funnel we use here, what the product was, and exactly what we did. So if you want to find out about that after this video, you can watch my YouTube. But for today, the biggest reason why we want to work with data and properly start using it is because we always want to work on the biggest bottleneck. This is going to ensure that we gain the most growth in business. If we're constantly working on the thing that's lacking most, that's where the biggest leverage is and where the biggest opportunity is for growth. Now, in order to work on the biggest bottleneck inside of your business, you have to find your bottleneck at all times first, and we can use data very well to do so. Okay, so the easiest way possible to find the biggest bottleneck using data and constantly every single week be updated on what your biggest bottleneck of the moment is, we use the exponential growth process. In a second, I'll completely take you through it, exactly show you how to build it for yourself. I will give an example of what it looks like, how you use it, why it works so well, and why it's important that you have one. Okay? And the big thing here is most people think that in order to start working with data and in order to make data-driven decisions for their business, they need like a big data center. They need like developers who build out dashboarding and have all sorts of crazy complicated analysis like they have in corporates. They think they need to take on people who work 40 hours a week on dashboarding and analysis and all that stuff. But it's simply not true, especially in this day and age of online business. You can do everything yourself. You can just start very simple. Now, eventually, when you do get to about 50 to 200K a month, depending on your module and everything, I would actually advise you to invest into a big data center to further dive like deeper into your data to properly exploit it. But for now, most important thing is that you start with just an exponential growth process. So let's get into exactly what that is and how it works. Okay, the exponential growth process. You can view this as basically your whole funnel from beginning to end on paper, showing you exactly what's going on, what's going well, and what isn't. Now, I've built one out here for you. As an example, I'll take you through it all the way and show you exactly how to build one for yourself. So what you want to do, step one, is to grab your funnel, your main funnel. So if you have a business and there's multiple funnels, so you have, for example, some leads come through, let's say, Instagram. Some lead, so that's you have like an Instagram organic funnel, maybe organic, and you have maybe let's say Meta ads funnel paid, right? So let's say you have these two funnels. What you want to do is make one exponential growth process for each, and you can kind of view this as all the data behind your funnel, but it's a little bit more in depth, and it will give you a little bit more clarity. All right, so first of all, let's just start building this as we go with your main funnel where the most money is coming through. Okay, and what we do is we write down every single step like this from the beginning all the way till the end, which is like upsells and everything. And we're going to just write every single step that a customer can go through. So someone can see your ad, then click on the ad and go to your landing page. Next step is they opt in. Next step is they watch your VSL. So for this example, I just used a VSL funnel. Most of you probably know what this is. If you don't, it's just you have an advertisement. You go to a landing page. You do an opt in. So you put in your name, email address, maybe a phone number. You get to a page where you watch a video with just like a pitch, sales pitch. Then after that, you click through. There's a button to a page where you can book a call. The next step is to actually book the call. The next step is to not cancel the call. So just leave the call and not cancel it, like from a customer's perspective. The next step is to actually show up on the call. So you see how detailed we go here, right? We go very detailed every single step where people can decide not to continue inside of the funnel. So you have show ups, then you have who are closed. Then you also want to write down like the cash collector per close and the deal size per close, just because you can tweak those as well in order to grow exponentially. And then you have upsell calls booked, etc., etc., etc. And then we're at the end, right? So this is just a very simple one for a VSL funnel. You can build this exact same one if you have a VSL funnel. If you have another type of funnel, just make sure you write down every single step that a customer can go through. Now, why is this called the exponential growth process? Very simply put, if you at all those, so like here's the conversion rate, right? So this is the amount of people that get from ad impressions to landing page views. There's like a rate here. And then for the next step, there's a certain amount of people that go through. For the next step, a certain amount of people that go through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's say you increase every single step with just 1%. Then your outcome doesn't increase with 1%, but it all compounds. So it's 1% times 1% times 1% times 1% times 1%, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what actually will make it grow exponentially, right? Does that make sense? Do you see how this can actually work for you and how this can exponentially grow your business? I hope so. Otherwise, just send me a DM if you don't understand. All right. So what do we have here? The color is a responsibility. Now, normally, this whole exponential growth process is tied into a bigger system, which I call the business management hub. All right. So business management hub. Simply said, so we're not going to get into it today, but simply said, this is one place where you run your whole business. So you have your data there, your team, the workload, the strategy, you have everything in one place. That's what the business management hub is. If you want to build something like this for your business, shoot me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. It's just Menno Wieringa, you'll find me. And just shoot me a message and we can look into potentially working together. But for now, this is not important. The colors will tie into a responsibility. For example, just so you know and actually can implement this, even though you're just building the exponential growth process. Let's say purple in this case is marketing. Okay. So the marketing department is responsible for everything that's purple. And then you have the sales department, and they are responsible for all the yellow parts of the exponential growth process. Then we have the green parts, which is delivery. Okay, so we have all sorts of departments, and for every single metric, like let's say that you, as you can see here, so in this example that I made, you have a red number here and a red number there. Well, we'll get into how you come up with the red numbers and everything, but the red and green. But let's say we zoom out and we see, okay, these are red. Then we go to the marketing department and we ask the person who is responsible for the whole department, hey, I see these things are red. What's going on? What are we going to do this week in order for those numbers to get back into the green? And this is exactly how you are constantly working on the biggest bottleneck. Okay, so let me dive into this further and then I'll re-explain the whole thing. So here we have a number and this is a conversion rate, like I just explained. So the amount of people that go from seeing the ad to the landing page or the click-through rate here, like there's a conversion rate. Okay, so that's the numbers that are in between here on all these things. Then what we have here is just a KPI. So we just literally just explained. So all the steps that people can go through. Here we have the responsibility, and here we have the conversion rate. Now, the color is a bottleneck indicator. So what do I mean with that? If it's red, that means that it's not going good. That means that this is the bottleneck. If it's green, that means that those numbers are good. Now, I know what your next question is. When is a number green and when do I turn it red? How do I determine this? So that's why you need to, like beforehand, just look what's normal in the market, look at numbers of competitors. Maybe you have experience with this already. If you want me to look into this and help you out with determining the standards for your numbers here, for the rates, just shoot me a message. I've seen hundreds of businesses, so I can definitely help you out with that. And the most important thing here is that you set standards, right? So for example, for ad impressions to landing page views, we just want to aim for 2%. Now, as you can see, we have 100,000 ad impressions and only 500 landing page views, which is a conversion rate of 0.5%, which is too low. That's why we turn it red. If this number would have been, let's say that we would have 3,000 landing page views, that would mean a conversion rate of 3%. That would mean we can turn it red because it's very good. Okay, 3% here is just very steady, very good. But in this case, it's not the case. So we know we need to work on this number. Now, how do we increase this number? By focusing on the ad creatives, the media buying, etc. Okay, so all the way at the top of the funnel, we want to switch things up and we want to improve here. So we want to make split tests here in order to make the biggest growth difference. Because imagine this, you're currently doing 0.5 conversion. Okay, so 0.5 people from your ad impressions get to your landing page views. Now, at the end of the whole thing, so I put in numbers, everything, XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And then what happens is, okay, at the end, 2 people are closed, and the cash collected per close is 8.2K in this case, okay? So that means there's 16.4K collected. Now, let's say we manage to increase this number to our standard, which is 2%. That's a 4x increase. So that means that we go from 16.4K, we go 4x to well over 60K. Okay, see how you can increase this number like crazy. And the only reason we can do that is because we focus on what's lacking most. So we focus on the biggest bottleneck, right? Because if we want to 4x the landing page views to opt-ins, it's not even possible. Okay, so we can increase this number, but 27% is good. And we cannot, like, how are you going to 4x this number, right? It's just not realistic. Here, same thing. You're not going to 4x this. And here, again, we see a red number, VSL views to click through. We might be able to get this to like 10%, possibly, maybe even more. We can maybe 3x this number, right? So you can see how if you update this whole thing on a weekly basis, it's just very low effort. It's easy. Like, these are the easiest numbers to actually start collecting. You just put them in this overview and you see exactly, when you zoom out and you fill everything out, you see exactly what you need to focus on this week in order to make the biggest jump to the next level. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. That's the exponential growth process. Now, how do we do the analysis? So I just gave you a little bit of an example. If you want to increase this number, you want to look into what's going on here, right? So the ad impressions, everything there. But it doesn't, like, it is not always like, okay, we want to increase this number, we look at this step. It's not always like that, because imagine that you, let's say this number is very good. So you convert a lot here, but people do not want to opt in. Okay, now you could start, like, keep figuring out like what to do with the landing page, and there's probably a big difference to make in a landing page, but it could also be that you're just not attracting the right people in the ad impressions. Because let's say I'm selling a golden banana and a lot of people want a golden banana, so that means that a lot of people go from here to here, which makes this number green, good, amazing. But then what I'm actually selling on, like, the landing page, or actually like further in the funnel, what I'm actually selling is a golden apple. But people were looking for a golden banana. So I attract the wrong people into the funnel. So later on in the funnel, numbers will turn red. But the problem is not necessarily on the landing page or on the opt-ins or on the VSL. The problem could already be at ad impressions. Okay, so there's a little bit of expertise there. You need to know what to look at, how to properly analyze things. But what I would always recommend is to keep things simple. Just think logically. Like, imagine yourself being a customer, being a lead. What will you think? What will your questions be? What will your objections be? And just make sure you actually understand marketing, obviously. Okay, but think simple, act consistent. So and make sure you just constantly keep testing, constantly keep looking at the biggest bottleneck, the red numbers, and consistently keep on testing, and let just time do its magic, and collect enough data before concluding. Okay, so do not start switching things up in like this part of the funnel when you just haven't had enough people on the landing page. Okay, if you have had 3 people on your landing page and you're trying to switch things up like on your VSL or whatever, like it's just not going to work. You want like a lot of numbers to run through to actually be able to conclude something from the data that you've collected. So always make sure to collect enough data before concluding. That's pretty much it. Like right now, it's just time to take action for you. Just like rewind the video, make sure to actually build this whole thing out for yourself, because I promise you, this will make a big difference in the coming weeks and months for your business. If you actually start implementing this and base your strategies or your next steps and what you're doing with your team, like in the next week, based all on this, because you're starting to base your decisions and your strategy off of data instead of what you see happening in the market, your emotions, your thoughts. It's just not trustable. You need data to move from. All right, that's it for this video. Once again, if you want more explanation of one of the things that I went into today, or if you're just curious about what I could possibly do for you, if you want to work together, have more questions, whatever, just make sure to contact me either on Instagram, menno.wieringa, or on LinkedIn. Just look for Menno Wieringa, you'll find me. Or go further into my YouTube, which is also Menno Wieringa. You'll find me if you type this. So that's it. I'll see you later.